So, Settlement Survival. Is it the next Banished? Hello, my name is Verify, and today I'm going to review Settlement Survival from Gleamer Studios. I scored this game a 6 out of 10, but the game is in early access and has been since October 2021, so I'll definitely do another review when the game fully launches.
Let's hope your viewers rate your video higher than that.
So here's my 3-step rationale for why I scored Settlement Survival 6 out of 10. With me not being a huge fan of the low poly look for city builders, and though I get it's colourful and maybe trying to be different, I find it's almost a real put off right out of the gate, especially when so many other up and coming city builders have a more realistic look to them. Think Manor Lords and Farthest Frontier. That being said, not all games have to look realistic, and a good example of this is Foundation, but for some reason the art choice for that game just feels right. Well, so what about the audio, you say? The music score I enjoy. It's very reminiscent of Banished and quite relaxing, but I do hope they add some extra tracks to the playlist to stop it feeling too repetitive, because ultimately you may just end up muting it so you can listen to the sound effects of the game instead.
Oh boy, this isn't going to be pretty.
Unfortunately, the sound effects fall quite short, but more in the way they were implemented. I like to scroll over my towns and hear the ambient noises of the townsfolk going about their day, and for some reason, during the design process, the decision was made to make the sounds play only if you click on a specific building, which just really takes me out of the zone. I'm not sure if I understand why they made this choice, but with the game being built in Unity, it definitely has the capacity to have sounds playing when you move near a building. There is no storyline to this game as such, other than a quick splash screen saying,
"Blink and you will miss it."
But with that being said, Banished didn't have much of one either, and it didn't make it any less of a game. There does appear to be a plan in place to add some other scenarios, which could give the developers the chance to add some mini-stories or themes, just giving a little more reason as to the why we are starting a new village. This is going to be the biggest part of the review, and rightly so, and I have a couple of good and bad points to make. But again, the game is early access and is actively being developed. You can take part in testing beta builds on Steam if you wish, or you could join their Discord and give them some feedback directly. Let's start with the macro management. As this game took its inspiration from Banished and in some aspects the Anno series, you can clearly see this in how certain things work, and this makes it quite easy to get into if you've played either games. From having to build your houses inside your marketplace's radius, to assigning your villagers to a specific job role, it just has that feel of, I've done this before, and your muscle memory kicks in. This is where I feel the UI needs tweaking a little though, because the menu that shows where your villagers are assigned is quite large and can't be pinned to the screen, so you can't see it at a glance. Nothing major, but I personally would like that option. Then on to the maps. Though you have a choice of entering a seed to randomly generate your map, all the maps have a real similar look and feel to them, which makes me feel like I'm only ever playing the same map over and over, and this could affect replayability in the long run. That being said, there are some good features here, like being able to select your starting point, and the various bonuses dotted around the map, such as fertile soil and fishing bonuses. When we look at the balance and pacing of the game, and I guess even the research tree as this has a direct impact on that, I feel like I could talk about this one for hours. But for the sake of keeping this to the point, it's all wrong!
Talk about the pot calling the kettle black.
Research feels quite slow as you progress through the game, and I'm not sure if it's even possible to unlock all of the tech tree, so pick wisely or you may regret your choices. But it just needs some refining as it's a little rough around the edges. Gaining the points to unlock the tree can become slow, but there are technologies that you can unlock to speed up that process under the education tab of the tech tree, but then you're using points to gain points. So it seems a little bit counterintuitive. I would like to see them do more with this feature, but it's something I always wanted to have in Banished, so I'm not going to complain too heavily at this point. The balance and pacing in itself isn't something I'm an authority on, but you just know when something feels right and when it doesn't. You can just tell if something is too difficult by design or lack thereof. With the game being in early access, I've no doubt this will be tweaked extensively over the course of development, so I'm hoping it's nothing to be too concerned about. In the top right corner of the UI, you have the ability to see upcoming events, whether that be migrants to a trade boat or even disasters such as a drought or a tornado. I don't like to be told something is going to happen. I prefer to have a "oh shit" moment that makes me panic a little bit. It's a good way of breaking up the game and adding a little excitement from the unknown. One great addition to the game is terraforming. You can do all the things you'd expect from these tools, from flattening land to expanding rivers, which is really useful when the rivers are quite narrow. This is unlocked via the tech tree, however, and isn't something you start with. Well, it wouldn't be right if I didn't say something about decorations being in the game. I absolutely love to decorate my towns. I mean, why not? I'm not entirely sure if they add any benefit to your residents, but it can help when it comes to making your town stand out from the crowd. During different seasonal events of the year, they also add different decorations that can be used during this time, such as pumpkins for Halloween. The game comes with a day-night cycle, but it doesn't kick in for at least the first year. It's a nice feature and it's great seeing your village lit up at night. So, my final thoughts. I think Settlement Survival has everything it needs to blossom into a fantastic city builder. However, with it being an indie game, you just never know if the game will ever get finished and realize its true potential. And that's always the worrying thing when it comes to an indie company. Just looking at the daily stats on Steam, Banished in general still beats Settlement Survival by average players per day, which I'm not sure if is a little worrying or not. You'll have to let me know down in the comments. But on that note, until next time, as always, take care.